Well, we're back. Back, I want to say semi-regular podcasts.
Well, that was a lie. Hello, and welcome to the Trip and F1 All Podcast, episode 9. Sorry, it's been a while since I've said that. So, I'm not technically back. I'm planning to do a few more videos soonish. I don't know how many. Obviously, I've got this video today, which I'll tell you about what we're doing in a bit. We've got... I had a fantasy draft in the pipeline, but there's been... Well, originally there was a bit of falling out with one of the main key people in there. Then I think we're good. But then, I don't know, things are just a bit... So, and then it's taken a while, and like a lot of the people, like, let's be honest, I don't know where a lot of the people who did. So, like, some people I'm in contact with, but a lot of them I don't really know. So maybe I'll post that, but like finish it with a few people, like get three of us to like just finish it all off. Because I think they picked what, 7-8 people. It's quite interesting. I think even just finishing off just the last, again, probably what, 11, 12 picks. No, 12, 13 picks, I reckon. It's around then. Just finish that off, and hey, I don't know, get that posted, but it might be a scrap project. Also, yeah, going to maybe get back into F1 Manager as well once I get that, but I'm honestly not going to buy it day one, so it might be a while until like I actually have it and I start doing content on that, especially because it takes a little while to edit. Also in the process of job hunting, so I don't have a huge amount of time, and then when I get a job, I'll probably want to obviously focus on my job and improving my skills. And like, I think I got too comfortable when I had a job last time, so I was like, I have a job, don't need internet, don't need to do anything, come back home and just chill. Now I think I gotta focus a little bit more on my career progression. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, so I'm back for now, and I can't promise how consistent my uploading is. But okay, so what we're going to doing today actually is I think similar to how everybody starts making their 2024 predictions around now, maybe even more the start of season, like where drivers are going. I thought I would do that, but little twist. I'm saying, what happens if just silly season went fucking nuts? Excuse the profanity. No, no. Let's be honest. I'm probably this one isn't probably my podcast probably isn't catered towards children, anyways. So I try not to swear as much in this because you don't need to really. But yeah, it just went nuts. It just went crazy, and everybody moved, and teams were making changes. Drivers were shooting. Like, a lot of the predictions I have right now are probably like, I want to say they're like probably like they might happen in a year or two, but what happened if, or like 2-3 years maybe, what happened if they have happened now? And some of them are just nuts. Like, there's a possibility. It's very small. But yeah, I just wanted to do these bold predictions that like I don't necessarily believe in, but I'm like, there's a chance, And I always like to say nothing is impossible, just improbable. But yeah, so I wanted to do that. We might record this in like 2 parts. I just noticed that's reflecting off this. Yeah, this white's reflecting off my yeah, this is pretty bad, so I might just switch to this. Or maybe it's, sorry, I'm not liking the lighting currently. I don't record or stream much during the day, so there's that. Also, I'm running out of daylight. Probably didn't time this the best, but I got distracted. You know, even though the every day right now is the weekend for me, apart from, obviously job hunting because I'm still unemployed, not been easy. I still get so lazy on the weekends. It's just the fact that like Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, I'm usually more lazy on the F1 weekends, or especially if there's F1 and supercars. Shout thumbs up if you want me to make a supercars channel or talk about supercars. Nah, I'm not that. I'm not that big about supercars. I just enjoy watching it. And MotoGP as well. I'll probably be more likely to talk about MotoGP probably. Anyways, yeah. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know how much time I have on my hands. If we can get this done, then yeah. 6 minutes into the video and we're getting started. I'm going to take that as a win. A lot of people have been calling me out for my long outros on my stream. Anyways, so I want to get into this. Again, I'll probably go 1, I'll give you the prediction, the explanation. 2, I've changed this a bit, so I'll give you my original. I designed this list probably the start of season or very early on in the season or something. I think I started like last year. There's probably I could probably find out when I did create it. In fact, yeah, no, I can do that. Let me just quickly check. When was this created? Because I think it was created 12th of January. Yeah, so just before. So, but I thought I reckon about now's the best time, just before the silly season. I mean, we've probably got a month or two before the silly season, but I was just like, whatever. It's cool. Yeah, no. Anyways. So yeah, we'll do the original, and then the third thing, I was like, how likely is it? Let's be honest. I'm a realistic person. Even though I've got some crazy hot takes, I'll just be honest with myself. It's like, maybe, I don't know. All right. So I wanted to, let's just start with, the usual order of things. I mean, in this list, I've got McLaren at 4th with. God, I could only wish. I really want Oscar to do well, but yeah. So again, we did start this at the start. Again, putting Aston Martin like 6, so it's not gonna be in championship order. It's just gonna be the order I thought everybody kind of was. Albon Haas is correct though, and like AlphaTauri Williams, like, they really haven't done much. There will be 11th team because maybe. Anyways, I'll talk about that when I get onto it. Okay, all right. So let's start with Red Bull. Obviously, expected to be the biggest. Hold on, let me just get my drink. Turn of Coke Vanilla. 0, of course. All right. Let me see. Yeah, Red Bull. So it's expected to be the best. Were the best. Easy. Done. Yeah. So Red Bull, I said, easy decision. Keep Max. I don't think any way in hell Max leaves next year. Like, I can see him retiring in 2028, like he says he is, or after 2028, but whatever. And then in the second seat, I said Yuki Tsunoda. Hear me out. Hear me out. Okay. This isn't. I think Yuki can drive better than Checo. I think this is strategic by Red Bull. Especially when you think about what Red Bull kind of has always stood for, like getting young drivers into seats, or like, they've always prided their young driver academy maybe a lot more than other teams, and like, they've always been about getting those guys, Vettel, Daniel Ricciardo for a while. Obviously Verstappen still going with Red Bull. You got Carlos Sainz, you got Albon's Gasly, whatever. But the list is, yeah, it's just, the list goes on. The list goes on, and Red Bull's always been Red Bull's always been about getting young drivers in seats. So I think this is a strategic move because, and again, it's bold. It's bold even by my standards because I'm already doubting it a little. When I look at a few things, it's strategic in getting a young driver, obviously, into the main Red Bull team. If on the circumstances Marco was like really happy with how Yuki's going, if by the end of or even before some break, Marco goes, all right, bring him up. But no, it's more strategic in having 2 AlphaTauri spots empty. Or potentially empty, as I should say. I might have leaked what AlphaTauri is. I'll do AlphaTauri after this because I have the 2 correlate very much. But yeah, no, I think this gives them more flexibility with their junior program. I think Checo's a bit, I don't know. It's possible. It's possible that they actually boot Checo. I'm thinking throughout the season, I've been like, yeah, they're probably not going to. He's a good midfield driver. He's getting them. And then I keep on hearing things and I keep on looking at things. It's like, oh, maybe. But yeah, I think they put Yuki in the car. Second seat. Does it work out? We'll see. Do they ditch Yuki after about a year or 2? When he doesn't perform, maybe. It's a fairly ruthless thing for Red Bull to do, but they could be like that. And hey, they've got so many juniors they could afford to kind of give Yuki the test, and if he doesn't pass it, that's one less junior to worry about, Especially, obviously, with Honda kind of separating from them 2026. Obviously, they've been slowly separating, but, they're still vaguely related. Anyways, so that's kind of like my prediction on the bold. It's very bold. And I'll give you my original, right? My original, before I change this, was Max and Daniel. Ricky boy. Why did I say that? Yeah, no, I thought there's a chance of, and I think it's a bigger chance now that I think about it. So is it really I was thinking, is it bold if I'm saying that when it's probably a 50-50 split on people who think Checo is going to stay, Danny's going to come and see it. The other thing that I think makes Daniel a bit more likely, so it wouldn't be as bold, is that, I don't know, there's a few things. There's obviously what he said about, it would be a dream if I could drive the Red Bull. I think you don't say that media-wise. Like, your PR person doesn't let you say that unless maybe there's some truth to it. Maybe it's a hint of things to come. Maybe Danny, it's not true, and Danny did get scolded by his PR person, but it's too late to retract and Marco probably. It's too late to retract the statement. They're like, "Oh, don't be giving rumors to the media like that." Or don't get the media going, Even YouTubers like us will be like, like I could say I'm a YouTuber, but whatever. I do YouTube content. I think about F1 a lot. Ooh, rumors like that, they're nice, juicy and tasty. But yeah, no, anyways, I thought that was probably not as bold, so it's like, nah, but I think that could happen. I generally do think that will happen. So that already tells you what I think about how likely is Yuki going to Red Bull. Next year? Probably not. Even I'm looking at 2025 and I'm thinking maybe not. The like again, do they promote him after Checo's contract runs out? No. I think they get rid of Checo after his contract runs out. I don't know. I don't think Checo gets a contract extension. Even, and again, I think he could possibly be bought out. I don't know how big his contract is, how much money it would cost for Red Bull, but just out of curiosity, I'm gonna check that. Checo Perez contract. Do we have like a number on that? Sport track. Okay. No. They usually don't, yeah, no. They don't usually share that as much. Ooh, okay. No, so okay, so his original contract was 18 million. I'm gonna say he probably signed more than that. 7 million euros. 7 million euros. Which let me convert that to hold on. Some bug on my it's whatever. It's a tiny bug, it won't hurt. I don't think 7 million euros is 11 million. But they said okay, so it'll be a pretty hefty payout if we assume yeah 7 million. Yeah, 11, maybe 11.5 million they'll have to pay out, but it's hard to say. Maybe again, maybe they do just wait out Checo's contract and put that in afterwards. Whatever. But you know what I was saying was I think Yuki, from what I've seen, Mark, even though I think generally fans are pretty impressed with Mark, Yuki, not many fans are impressed with Marco. Even Red Bull fans are kind of like, maybe you should go in a retirement home soon, old man. But no, I think maybe they just wait out of Checo, and then Yuki, I don't know his future. It's really hard to say. If Marco's not impressed and Marco's the shot caller, maybe not. I honestly, to be fair, it's a big step to say, oh yeah, he's doing well, and you don't have a really good benchmark when you go against De Vries. I'm saying this even as like a former like De Vries hype train kind of guy. It's like, ooh, maybe he could do well. But you know, anyways, talk about that a bit later. I think Yuki might never get the promotion we think he's got to get to the main Red Bull team, even though Franz Tost wants it. But I guess it'll be mostly up to Marco, and it'll be mostly up to I think the new is it Laurent Mookie or something, whatever his name is. Hold up, let me check that. Because I believe Mookie's, yeah, Laurent McKee. I believe that's probably how you say it. I don't know. I did French for a year. I think and after that I'm just like, yeah, I know. I know how to have a French accent and pronounce French words and names. No. But no, I think no. It's hard to say. Hard to say if Yuki's got to get. But anyways, let's move on to AlphaTauri, because again, that wasn't the next in the list, but I'm talking about AlphaTauri a bit. Well, you know how I said there will be 2 potential positions available, because you know there's so many youth, there's so many talents. I'm thinking like guys like me, Enzo or something. Enzo Fittipaldi's probably not going to get to F1. Like at this point, he's not really impressing. Dennis Hauger might slightly miss out. Zane Maloney and guys like that. Hadjar, maybe you need another year to kind of know what he's doing. So maybe it doesn't. You maybe thin it out a bit. And a lot of people, it's not like Red Bull has like 10 talents in their F1 academy that are definitely going to be the stellar F1 drivers, and they're like, oh, we don't have enough seats for this. No, though, does make you think if McLaren get Red Bull engines, then could McLaren be like, sure, we'll take a Red Bull driver on, and then like if Red Bull don't really want them, they can keep it, or if Red Bull want it, and I don't know, maybe there's a bit of negotiation about releasing him. Otherwise there'll be penalties to the engine we're supplying, you know. So no, I thought for AlphaTauri, because they have got two really good young talents, I think right now that deserve an F1 drive now. I'm going for Liam Lawson and Ayumu Owasa. I always call him Owasa because I can't do his first name. I can't. Yeah, Lawson and Owasa. I think, yeah, you've got Owasa possibly in the F2 contention, but I'm being a bit worried because, I mean, let's see how he does next weekend in Austria. I'm a little worried that maybe he'll drop out of contention, but he's put a fairly good performance in, I think, and a good shot. I think, yeah, I think that's Owasa, I think, would be underlooked, and Lawson's still the favorite. But in this scenario, you could have both. Lawson again, he's second, I believe. Liam Lawson is second standings, I believe. Let me quickly check. I think he dropped down a bit. He was leading for a while, so both of them have led the championship. And I think it's between there. Okay, so two, yeah. Second, I mean. Yeah. Like Liam Lawson obviously had a good run in Autopolis, but Sportsland Sugo, I think it is, he only got the first lap. Bravo to Liam Lawson. He's still doing things even when he doesn't have a hugely great race. Let's see. Can we see the... I want to see the... Yeah, he came fifth, so he didn't have a great race. Yeah, so Liam Lawson either seems to be like first or fifth or fourth. Like if he wins or he's not on the podium, which is probably not a great scenario. We've got a guy winning twice, and then one time he doesn't win second. Whatever. Anyways, I like numbers, and then you've also got Nojiro getting a few podiums as well, although he did miss a race. I think Nojiri is the favorite, I believe, from what I've heard. Again, I haven't been keeping that much up to date with it, but it's been interesting. Again, I thought Lawson was going to be a bust, like, in the first half of last year. I thought he was like, yeah, I don't think Lawson's F1 material, but I think he's made a fairly good comeback. I really do think he is. Oh my god, my face is so white. Oh yeah, it's because I'm looking at Wikipedia. It's fucking... I should probably put... Is there a dark mode for Wikipedia? I don't know. Every time I look at like Wikipedia or something, I don't like... It used to be Twitter or something. Before I changed dark mode. my the light really badly reflects into my face. Anyways, yeah, I thought Lawson made a fairly good comeback to again. Sorry, I flashbang myself. Again. I think he's done a fairly good job to like prove me wrong, and kind of like I think that third in F2 and then obviously doing well in Super Formula. Again, mixed feelings on how much of Super Formula is, I guess, what the standard. I know they're somewhere between F1 and F2 cars, but the drivers, I'm thinking like, no offense to anybody or to them, but it is, I feel like it's less multicultural. So like your talent pool is more, you're pulling one talent pool from one country. Like I think this is the same for just about any like that, like even like IndyCar, you know, and there's like, okay, the best. Actually, IndyCar's got a bit more multicultural actually. It used to be, or like NASCAR, for example, like you're racing. It's actually NASCAR even fucking. I think NASCAR has a few international drivers now. But yeah, you know, I think Superform is very like one culture, similar to how I thought maybe Ferrari only pulling from their one country, obviously their home country, probably holds them back because they don't get a multitude of kind of like talents. You know, you only pick the best from that country, and it's like, yeah, I will give them credit though. They are mostly mature drivers, so a lot more experience than a lot of F2 drivers, unless you're like one of those guys that's been in F2 for ages because they've paid to be in there for like 6 or 8 years. But no, I think that's one thing. So I don't know. I think both of them. My personal favorites was, I think he will be underlooked though. But anyways, in this one, we get both. Let me tell you about my original. Let me tell you my original pick. Hey, for AlphaTauri, I went De Vries and Hauke. Again, I'll talk about Hauke a bit. I was just like bold prediction. I was like, maybe Hauke has a good year, and they're like, okay, Hauke, you're ready. You're obviously an F3 champion. Maybe he wins the F2 championship as well. Maybe Lawson and Iwasa don't perform, and then it's all of a sudden it's like, ooh, Hauke. And that would have been probably bold if I had said it very bold if I said it at the start of the season, and I could be a prophet if it actually happened. But now it's very, very, very stupidly bold if I'm saying they put Hauke in the car. Like doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if Lawson or Iwasa. Like that's not bold. That's just stupid. If I say Hauke again, De Vries again. My opinions change. I thought after he rose in that roast. Did I make up a new word? He raced in that the Williams came P8 or whatever, P7, P8, I think it was. Monza? Yeah, maybe. But anyways, yeah, he had that race. I should know this. Like some guys, I'm not a fake fan. I just forget some details. I do. I was like on the hype train. I was on the hype train for him, and I thought he was going to be doing well. And I thought De Vries was the future. I thought he was the second driver in 2025. A lot of people say, "Oh, give De Vries time. He needs 3 more years." You don't really have 3 years with De Vries, or like, I guess you keep him in, but like. You could keep him in for another year and then see if he's ready for but it's like, no. Anyways, Marco's disappointed with him. In 3 years' time, he's got to be like 31. Yeah, 31. The only rookie on the grid that's older than me. I tell you guys, if you're not at that age yet, it gets scary when all of the rookies in F1 or um, F1 or NBA or whatever you are, like, I don't know, NFL. It's just a really kind of like hollow feeling when they're all of a sudden, look at all these kids, like, you can literally call them kids. You can't look at, like, you're not like 17, 18 and look at them like, when I grow up, I want to be just like him. No, I was like 16, 15, whatever. you can't look at it. You're like, God, look at all these people who've been way more successful in their life, and here I am. But anyways, now I thought De Vries could have been the guy. Not a future world champion. I always said he could have been the second driver at Red Bull. And honestly, I've got one more hot take about De Vries. I think if he'd, and this is one I thought about today actually, if he'd stayed with Williams, like if he'd stayed in Williams, like the kind of Williams realm, and for example, Williams chose him over Logan Sargent, I reckon he would be doing better than Logan Sargent. I honestly think I got a few friends that are, Logan friends, Sargent fans, or like they're really hyped on him. So this would annoy them. But I don't understand the Logan Sargent hype, and I just think Williams really should have chose De Vries, but I get it. Logan Sargent. Again, it's all about, it's a bit about marketing, isn't it? Like, obviously, Audi wanted Germany driver. Red Bull could potentially go, oh yeah, Danny actually gets us a bigger market, and obviously you have him as the third driver. But you think, oh yeah, you put Danny in the second driver, damn! Imagine how much popular we will be in America, because a lot of teams are focused on America. I think Williams is owned by an American company. I know someone who actually works at Williams in one of the Discords I'm in. I really wonder how she got that job. If I knew her better, I would probably ask. All right, where is it? Yeah, who bought them? Like, I think it's because I think a bit of it's based in America because they were bought by buyout. Yeah, let's see. Who bought them? Like, I'm just curious. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, whatever. Anyways, I'm taking too long with this. It's already 30 minutes and I've only done 2 teams, so we'll speed it up a little. I think if De Vries replaced Sargent, he'll be doing better, and I think he would have a better shot in F1. I really generally think that. I think the thing with De Vries is like he was used to the Williams, Mercedes drive. He knew Aston Martin drive. So maybe the Aston Martin is a bit more similar to Red Bull now, and it was kind of when he drove the Aston Martin. But I think if he was kind of still in that Mercedes camp, he's like Williams, then he could have been the next Mercedes driver, again, the second driver when Hamilton retires. I think he would have done better. I generally think maybe it is a little bit of the car. I don't think it's just De Vries is underperforming. I think he He's not got a huge ceiling, but I think he's got maybe more of a ceiling than the AlphaTauri is letting him. Again, does he ever get used to that car? Like, if Red Bull can, or if he can prove to Red Bull that he's getting more used to the car, and he will get better in that car. But I don't think so. I think Marco's just done with him, to be honest. I think De Vries leaving is the most realistic part of this, and Lawson replacing him is the most realistic part. But in terms of realism on the whole lineup, so said Lawson. I think Lawson's going to get the drive. Lawson's the favorite. They get rid of De Vries. I think it's just done. It's done. It's open to reduce. Iwasa is the interesting one because again, Iwasa. Again, I don't think they. Is it likely that they get rid of Yuki for Iwasa? I think unless Iwasa won the championship, where in F2, and then it would be like, I want to drive now. I think he's a fairly humble kid, right? Kid. How old is he? I could call him kid. There's no way he's older than me. He is 21. Yeah. Oh, he's not that much. Yeah, he's turning 22, right? Anyways, he's not that much younger than me. God, it's scary that I can call these people kids. Not like just generally, I don't know, whatever. I think unless he wins the championship, and then it's like kind of expected, like you put him in the team, and then it's like maybe it's too late if they make a decision by summer break, because really they want to put it pen to paper. Oh, sorry. We'll cut that out. Cut that out of editing. No. I think Iwasa doesn't get the seat this year. I think it's more likely that after this year he goes to perform there for a year. If you then go, Yuki leaves for Red Bull in 2025, you get him in the seat. It becomes a little bit more interesting when you have, if Yuki stays, for example, and then you promote Danny Ricciardo, and then like it isn't till like 2026 or 2027 where Yuki gets a drive in the Red Bull, or like anything's frees up to you, then do they get rid of Yuki? Do they get rid of Iwasa? Kind of that's the decision they have to make. There's maybe hot take again. I've mentioned in one of my F1 discords. Does Iwasa maybe go, being a Honda driver, does he now go to Aston Martin? Maybe joins the Aston Martin junior team, especially if he's like, "Ooh, how's like it's gonna be a spot for me?" You know, they have to. I think this is the thing where Red Bull really have to be careful, because Iwasa, I think Iwasa's a really good. I think Iwasa's better than Yuki, honestly. I think Iwasa's better than Yuki. I like Iwasa as a person as well. I think he's got more talent. I don't know why I'm such a Iwasa fan. I'm just like, I think ever since I started watching F2, mid last year, it's like, I like that Iwasa guy. But yeah, no, I don't think he's going to get the promotion, and they're going to keep Yuki. I think that's most likely. So again, 0 out of 2 on maybe making semi-realistic predictions. A more realistic prediction, semi-realistic. I'll explain why. Again, I'll just tell you the prediction first. Ferrari, Charles Leclerc. He could leave, but I don't think it's. I want to say he doesn't leave just yet, though. He's been increasingly frustrated. And new driver in, we got Zhao Guanyu. I hope that I pronounce it right every time I say it. Anyways, yeah, Zhao. I think I've got his first name. It's like Zhao Second name. You get confused when, obviously Chinese names the other way around. And Japanese sometimes. It's interesting though, like guys like Yuki Tsunoda or like Ayumi Wasa. Don't want it to, unless Wasa is really his first name. I don't know, but I think Yuki and that or Tsunoda. It's interesting. Knowing a bit about again those Asian cultures and I'm a bit of a weeb. No, I'm not a weeb. But I consider myself fairly educated, culturally educated, I guess. God, I'm gonna sound like one of those white Karens. It's like, oh, I'm very accepting. I have a black friend. But no. I think here's why I think this is likely. Again, I said with Charles, like, I just don't see him leaving this soon. Like, I've always said Ferrari's probably his best and worst case. I think with Aston Martin being good, maybe Aston Martin get Leclerc. There's still rumors he could go to Red Bull. I don't think that might be something that more happens after Max leaves, assuming that he does retire in 2028, after 2028, and then the Red Bull's still decent. I think there's just not a way out for him. He probably wants to leave, and I think he's more likely to put a bit more faith. I don't think Sainz is too much. Has put too much faith into Ferrari. I think Sainz more than anybody has actually got really frustrated with Ferrari. I think if he has another drive, he's out of there. I'll let you know what I've done with Sainz in a second. And in fact, he's next up. No. He's in a few. I think Zhao. I rate Zhao. I think Ferrari could look at Bottas maybe. I don't know how bold. That's fairly bold. Zhao's my big pick of and I got to be careful that I don't do it like Crofty with this because I'm thinking I'm not sure if I'm saying his name right. It's like maybe I should say no, don't call him that. Don't call him that. That's outdated. Don't be like Crofty. If you know, you know. So I think I rate Zhao as a driver. I think he's been silently putting in good performances. I think he might not be beating Bottas, but I think he's driving better than Bottas. That's my hot take this year. I think he's doing better than Bottas. I think Bottas is underperforming. Everybody seems to think that. Everybody, if you look at his F1 23 rating in the game, and every YouTuber and everybody's saying, "Oh, too high, put him at he's an 87 now, put him at an 83." Geez. maybe I'm not that low on him. I think maybe Bottas, if you put him in a good car again, he could give you one last dance as a decent driver in a good team. I think, but I have said I think Bottas isn't far from retiring either. I think Zhao, has a ceiling, like I've said a few times, of a good second driver, and I think that's what he does for Ferrari. Ferrari being Zhao in after Sainz leave and kind of go to Leclerc, we've got you a good supporting act. We're going to make you the car. And that gives you a bit of time to, massage Charles Leclerc, kind of being yeah, we're going to get it. We're going to get it. We're going to get it right. Will they ever get it right? Probably not. I think Leclerc's stuck in a bad position there. And he might want to move. Yeah. Again, this was my original prediction. I haven't changed this one. Could have changed to Bottas, like I said. Maybe. I think if I think the only thing I could think is I could see Daniel Ricciardo and Ferrari. I think they take a chance if they're looking for a drive to replace Sainz. Like Sainz just goes, I want to buy out. They're like, what the fuck? What do we do? I don't know if they. It's bold saying they take the chance on Zhao. I think it's more likely if Sainz leaves, then maybe Daniel Ricciardo. Like, but yeah. It could be more likely to be Dan Ricciardo. That's again a bold choice, so it's like, yeah, that wouldn't be a too wrong of a choice either to pick Dan Ricciardo at Ferrari. You could have second thoughts. Again, does he want to? And he probably wants to more go to Red Bull than anything. Maybe he'd veto that, knowing Ferrari. There was a reason he didn't go there when he had the opportunity to go there. A few other times. In fact, I think he's shut down Ferrari 2 times. But I think he had the chance to go in 2018. He was like, and then he had the chance to go just before he went to McLaren in 2021, I think. Yeah. So that's that. Yeah. Again, how likely do I think? I pretty much said it. It's likely Leclerc stays. Signs I'm genuinely, if Leclerc can get a buyout, he can get someone to take him. If he can get a better drive, if he can agree to a better drive and he can say, you'll sign me if I leave Ferrari, done. Easy. I don't think Sainz leaves if he doesn't have a drive, obviously. Like, I don't think he's that much unhappy with Ferrari to be like, I'd rather you're off, thanks. And like he has to play his cards right. I think Sainz, if he's really like negotiating to get out Ferrari or he wants to go somewhere else, he wants to again. I think even honestly, Sainz, as much as I said this to my dad, is like, why would he move sideways? I think he would move sideways, or he'd even move down a little, possibly to a team that has maybe high hopes, so that could, while it might look like a downwards move in the long term, it's going to be upwards because again, you never know. But yeah, the only really like how realistic is Zhao? Is the Zhao their first pick? Like, is Zhao the big Ferrari guy? I think with Sauber kind of looking like they could go either way with who they sign. I think, and so Sauber having so many options leading up to Audi and maybe Zhao even not getting contract. I think it wouldn't be hard to get Zhao from. Oh, well, of course, I mean, he's got an aspiring contract, so he does have to sign with Sauber, and then he's out. He's out of Ferrari, and I think Ferrari could notice that. Again, I think there's a few other options for Ferrari, though. There's even Mick Schumacher again. If they really want to, like, Mick Schumacher or something. They're like, we're sorry, Mick. But yeah. Mick must honestly have some, like, big plans, like he's already made an agreement with Audi or something to race with them, because I understand he was unhappy with Ferrari, but it's like it is your best chance of getting somewhere. But yeah, that's what I'm going to talk about next, actually, because I think possibly Mixer could be on the grid next year. I don't think so. I think, but I don't think so at the same time. But anyways, so yeah, I think Zhao's the big kind of like what if, maybe, I don't know. All right, let's speed it up a little. Mercedes. Again, probably was nearly going to change this up again a bit, but this is my original prediction that I put in. I said George Russell. He's the wonder kid. He's the future. Maybe in a few years' time they probably drop him. I'm not sure about Russell right now, and I don't think he's driving the best, and I don't think he's going to be the best driver, the driver they think he's going to be. And then Mick Schumacher. Why? Why Mick Schumacher? Because Lewis Hamilton's gonna retire after this season. I'll let you know what I really think in the predictions video for next year, but surprise, maybe I have a different perspective on Lewis Hamilton, because I have been predicting him to retire since 2020. And since the end of 2020, I was like, yeah, he's gonna retire this off season. He's gonna retire this off season. He's gonna retire this off season. I should stop predicting at this point, and I might actually stop predicting it. No, but this is the kind of the crazy world where Lewis does hang it up. And Mick takes his place. The next in line, really. I think Toto is impressed with Mick. I think he would be a good second driver. He wouldn't like threaten George Russell immediately. Like, again, George Russell kind of gets the reins. He's like, here you go, here's your team, George. And he gets to kind of show his prowess. I think that's a good thing about that. Again, realistically, how likely do I think this is? George saying yes, of course. I don't think it's going to be anything. Now, there's two things about Mick. One, I'm no guarantee that Lewis is going to retire. They wouldn't replace Lewis with Mick. Lewis did retire, duh. Even if they're having trouble with his fucking contract, they don't go, well, Lewis, it's been nice knowing you. No, they continue to negotiate until Lewis either goes somewhere else, retires, or actually signs with them. No, I think here's the thing with Mick. If, let's say, Lewis did retire, I think Lewis has got to say, I think Lewis has got to retire at the end of the year. Then they're like on a bit of a, oh shit, what do we do? You know, you call up Mick, because I mean, you have a bit of a negotiator. Like, again, they managed to get Bottas after Rosberg retired. You think they'll be like kind of rushing, and they'll go, who is Mercedes? Who's the reserve driver? Was it Ocon back then? Oh no, was it? I mean, I doubt they would, put Ocon in the car, but I mean, who is in contention? Do you think who is like immediately available? Mercedes 2016 reserve driver. (2021) there was no reserve driver. Okay. But no, realistically, yeah, Bottas is kind of like, they do have a good relationship, but you'd think even like the way they managed to get that organized so quickly, I reckon they were probably in contact with Bottas about him potentially joining. Hariant? Oh no. I was about to say Hariante. So who's driving for? Let me see. Who's driving for each team? Like, I want to see Mercedes. Can we see Mercedes in 2016? I'm genuinely like curious, like who was there? Who was? No, I don't think they've updated recently. Anyways, So I think maybe if Lewis pulls pulls a, I'm trying to think of the word. There's a slang for it. Anyways, it's like British, maybe more British slang. Pulls a quickie on him. I don't know. No, if Lewis retires like out of the blue again, I don't think he would do that unless because again he would have to have a contract, then retire, and then it's like, oh shit, we're especially if you already have he does have a contract, especially if he does have a contract and he decides to quit anyways because he lost faith. He just retires. You know, a lot of people say that maybe that would be in Lewis's character. I think it could be, but again, I don't have a fairly high image of Lewis, as a few of you know. No, I think he's a good driver. I just think he's characteristically, I think that would be maybe possible. Again, I'm just a hater. I'm just a professional hater. So I think realistically, again, I've been talking about this. If Lewis doesn't sign a contract and he decides, nope, I'm retiring after this year, I think it's going to be crazy. It's going to be silly season. There are so many people who could be in that Mercedes. I think even though Norris said he's more Red Bull, he could be like, I want out of McLaren. I think he wants out of McLaren. Again, spoilers for my next prediction. I think he says he wants out of McLaren so bad that he would go Mercedes. I think Leclerc's possible. Again, I wonder when they do try to when they do shut down these rumors, like they've got to come from somewhere. I know a lot of these are fake, but it's like it's part of the conspiracy nut brain of mine. Now, I'm not a big conspiracy guy, but the thing of like, what if there is some truth, and then it's like just PR shutting it down. Maybe there was some conversations between Claire and Mercedes. I'm thinking, do you get Bottas back? Does Bottas come knocking? Does anybody else come knocking? I mean, Seb could decide he wants to come back. Imagine Seb in a Mercedes. I think there's a lot of people against Sainz probably would want to taste a little too. Ocon could literally leave Alpine. I think Ocon's pretty happy with where he is, similar to like how I thought Albon. A lot of people are saying Albon. Albon could go back to Red Bull. I think Albon's happy where he is with Williams. Like he obviously likes Red Bull and stuff, and he hasn't like cut off his like allegiance, or well, he technically has, but he hasn't like cut off the idea. It's like, oh no, I'm done with Red Bull. It's more like I've got a secure place in where Williams and they've promised me we'll be competing in a four championship. And I think Albon's really liking the position he's in, similar to how I think Ocon's liking the position. But it's still a possibility. I don't know if Fernando Alonso goes to Mercedes. I think that would be a crazy one. Why would Alonso go sideways unless he was not confident in Aston Martin? I don't know. Norris. Did I say Norris? Yeah, Norris. Literally anybody could probably, even at Albon, go, hold me up, call me up. Again, he's comfortable with that. Sorry, I think I messed up a little, and my mic was a bit too high. So if the audio is a bit bad on this podcast, I am so sorry because I did have it on the wrong setting for a bit. Anyways, I think the likelihood that Mick might depend on a few factors. I think Toto likes Mick. I think Mick is a solid chance, and he's he's almost the favorite, maybe. Considering, I mean, obviously the favorite doesn't always win. You know, maybe it would take a bit and a crazy, like, out of the blue kind of like, ooh, who's going to replace Lewis? And all of a sudden it's Norris or something. You know, but I think Mick's in the best position to take that seat, especially if you want to give Russell the reins of Mercedes. Anyways, let's move on to McLaren. I think for McLaren, I think this is maybe I could go a bit bolder with this. I said keep Oscar Piastri. He's under contract. He's been doing well. Not a whole lot of people would be saying, "Oh, he's a bust. He's a bust." He's not a bust. He's probably the best rookie on the grid. He's definitely the rookie of the year in my eyes. And the fact that he's even being Norris sometimes is really promising. Again, I don't know. Again, I think maybe Norris is a bit overrated. No, I'm not saying Piastri isn't good. I think he's good. I just think Norris is maybe. I think one of the problems with Norris is his head isn't in the game. He's doing so much streaming and other stuff, and he's, doing all that. And it's like, is he really as passionate about racing as say? I know Max does some iRacing, but even that helps. Like when you see Norris doing shit with like that, like esports org or whatever, it's I think it's his esport org or whatever. Like you gotta question his dedication. But anyways, and that spoils the next person. I think Piastri staying, and I think McLaren bring back Sainz. Again, Sainz looking for a job. I think if McLaren loses Lando Norris, because in this, another spoiler, Lando goes somewhere else. Lando gets another job. He gets signed by and potentially bought out. A lot of this would depend on a lot of teams buying out people, to be honest. If I was to do a more realistic one where it's like, oh yeah, if they have a contract, they can't leave. Or for example, Red Bull's case, Checo has a contract with Red Bull, so they would have to do a switcheroo, and he would have to at least spend a year in the AlphaTauri before they probably get rid of him. Which I don't think Checo would be too happy with. I think it's more likely that Danny would be happy to take a year or half a season. Like I said, possibly they replace him mid-season. I think give him a test run, especially if they're training Danny up. But anyway, we're not talking about that. So if McLaren's really quickly looking for someone to hire, because McLaren aren't the biggest, like, no one's really going to be like, oh, I'm willing to step out of my contract to get a job at McLaren. I think Carlos, big step down from Ferrari to McLaren. Unless you believe McLaren's going to come back up, which I think they eventually will. I think give them a year or two and they'll be back competing with the best. Eventually. But yeah, I think Carlos Sainz back. Originally, I think McLaren say. That's actually a good question. Can I look at it? I hope they've saved a previous version. They never save a previous version, really. No. Okay. Restore points. Yeah. Okay. I had Carlos Sainz wasn't my previous. Okay. I had Sainz going somewhere else. My original. And I decided to switch it up. My original was still Piastri and someone else, I think. I don't remember who I changed it from. Yeah. How likely is this? I think Piastri stays. Duh. I don't think they give up on Piastri. Hasn't been that disappointing. Let me just check a few things real quick. Oh, shit, I've got a few messages, which I'll. Oh, nice. Sorry, just again, twitch.tv/Trip4ndFall. We've got this. We're organizing that stream for tonight. I think we've got a solid plan for what we're gonna do. Should be fun. Anyways, no, I think color signs is the interesting one. Do I think? Oh, it's a bit of a. I don't think Carlos Sainz is looking at. I'm sorry about my dog barking. I don't think Carlos Sainz would look to McLaren as his option of leaving Ferrari, but it's possible. It's possible. Like again, if you pitch Carlos good, if you proper English, please, Rip, Jesse, whatever. Sorry, talking to myself. Well, I'm pretty much talking to myself the whole podcast. Let's be honest. I think Carlos Sainz is an option for McLaren, obviously, if they lose Lando Norris. The other question is, does Lando leave this season? I don't think he does. I think Lando's more likely to leave after, or if they give him another year of just. Yeah, well, maybe even 2025. I think he's signed to 2025. Again, there's that wind tunnel. I'm always big on that. Like, is that wind tunnel gonna do well? As a not necessarily a McLaren fan, but an Oscar Piastri fan, I'm hoping that wind tunnel really works out for McLaren and they really go back to potentially being in the top 3 teams, at least the fourth, or maybe fifth. I'll take fifth. I'll take a close fifth in the 5th to 3rd, kind of bouncing around depending on how. Yeah, no. So I don't think Norris leaves, but if he did, what if? Like, it's a big like. Could he possibly? I know I'm contradicting myself a lot with the how likely is. I'm just trying to stay realistic because these are even bold and pretty hot, but even my taste. You know? All right, let's move on to Alpine. This is a little different. Actually, I'll tell you how this is a little different from my original prediction for the second. I said Alpine, Esteban Ocon. I think it's crazy to say they'll ditch him so soon. Or they'll ditch him. He's been doing a good job again. All respect to Ocon. I don't think he's a great driver, but all respect, as someone in one of my F1 Discord said, at least he's the non-top drivers, one of the only non-top teams, drivers from a non-top team that has got into a podium. So there's some validity to that statement. There definitely is. No, and then I say they get rid of Gasly and replace him with Jack Doohan. Why would they do this? I don't think Gasly's really impressed. Again, another buyout because I think you've got Gasly signed on for 2 years. So, you would have to buy him out, but it'd be something if they're really not happy with Gasly. And in fact, I think Gasly's really done poorly this season. I think Doohan. I think, even though I said, did I say he would leave? I think, yeah, last last year when I was doing my 2023 predictions, I said I thought that in the next 2 years, Doohan would leave the Alpine Drivers Academy. Possible. But no, I think in this case, there you go. Doohan, you're better than Gasly, although, again, F2 standings. Why not? Let's go F2 standings. Right, the standings for the FIA. I'm gonna get flashbang again, I think. Yep, it's a white. It's very white, this page. And where's the dark mode? Yeah, no, like, again, Doohan's having another. Doohan. Again, I know a Jack Doohan fan, and they would fucking hate me for saying it wrong. I've never seemed to say it perfectly right again. He's having another poor year, and he's realistically he could probably make it in top 5 if he's lucky, if he gets a few good races. But even then, like, how many races are there? How many opportunities really have? Really prove himself. But I think it's mostly been down to bad luck. So it would be crazy in one scenario if Doohan did get it, but it's not like he's a bad driver. That's the reason he's down there. I think it is maybe he isn't as great as some people thought he might gonna be. Sorry, Anna. I'm sorry, Jax. Maybe there's a little bit of not impressing. I'm sorry. She's gonna kill me after this. If she does watch this. Hopefully she doesn't get to this part in the video. But yeah, reliability is an issue. He's just having so much bad luck. But you would say he's probably a better option than, again, Victor Martins. Who is doing a bit better than him, but Victor Martins does need a bit more time, I reckon, to prove himself. Maybe next year he wins. Victor Martins wins 2024 F2 championship. And then it's a bit scary. Who you pick, Doohan or Martin, especially if Doohan rests too much. But yeah, no, flashbang myself again with the Wikipedia page. All these damn so light pages. Yeah, no, anyways. Let me see. Yeah, no, so I think Gasly out the door. Now, this contrasts from my original prediction before the start of the season. I said Esteban Ocon down out the door, and Doohan replaced him. Gasly stayed. I generally thought, and I know people don't like this because a lot of people don't like Gasly. I was a bit of I don't know, Gasly's alright. I like Gasly more than Ocon, for example. And again, people hate me for that as well. I'm again not a big fan of Ocon. I think he's such a prick, you know? I would get censored for that on British TV, but it's my channel, and I say screw whoever thinks that's a swear word. It is not. What time is it? Oh, not even 6. Okay. I thought that Gasly was gonna stay, and then Ocon didn't impress, and Gasly bit Ocon, and then Ocon was like, I think because Ocon's out of a contract. Is Ocon out of contract? Esteban Ocon. I just don't like Esteban Ocon. I'm sorry. Please forgive me, Ocon fans. If any are watching. They're not. No one's watching me. Except a few friends. Thank you. Thank you, friends, for, at least having this on in the background and supporting me. Yes, wait. 2023, 24 is next year? No. Oh, no. So they've got a weird way because, like, technically it should just be. Okay, so let's say 2022, 2023. Oh, yeah, he's out of contract. He's out of contract. I think this off-season, I think drivers out of contract 2023. 7 drivers. Hamilton, Sargent, De Vries, Sonoda, Magnussen, Hulkenberg, Guan Yu. Where do they think Ocon? No, Ocon has 1 more year. Okay, Ocon has 1 more year, but they could buy him out. So that was what I was going to say. That would just buy him out. How likely do I think this is? 50-50? Again, I talked about possibly not doing the best and maybe not pressing too much. Again, that reliability, you got to ask how much of it is the car's fault, how much of it's fault. I think they keep Gasly on for at least a year. Maybe they ditch Gasly after that year, so then possibility for Doohan or Martins. I reckon Doohan really has to be worried about Martin, really, because they're fighting for that same. I reckon Gasly's 2 years. I think they don't take Gasly's. I think Gasly's. Yeah, no, I think I'm gonna say it. I think in this scenario, Gasly's out of this. I don't know who else would be. He did well at AlphaTauri, but transferred to Alpine. Maybe should have stayed at AlphaTauri for another year. Like I said, I think I predicted that he was going to. His best shot was to stay at AlphaTauri, so tick for me in the last year's prediction as well. But yeah, no, again, that's a little bit unrelated. Anyways. Okay, sorry for that. Sorry for that little break. And I mean break, I don't mean I was gone for an hour and now I'm back. I was gone for about a week. I was planning to maybe do it like later in the day after I've done a few things, or maybe even the next day. Then editing might have been a little late, but whatever. Yeah, so yeah, it's been about a week since I was started recording this, so things have changed a little again. Austria, I was talking about a lot about Austria and stuff. And I was talking a little bit about Austria. Now it's more the British Grand Prix is relevant. So if I did say anything about that, then ignore that. Again, a few of my predictions might be a bit outdated. I don't know. A few of my comments. So yeah. And also again about the thing that I was saying, I might come back. I might come back a little to do more of this. There's been a bit of a problem where I still haven't been able to get a job, and I keep getting denied by people. So yeah, probably maybe not as much. There's probably maybe a few videos I'll plan, but apart from that, yeah. So don't be surprised if I go silent again. Not that anybody really watches this channel, but hey, I'm thinking maybe someone watches this channel today. I don't know. Maybe I get a few fans. Anyways. Yeah, so just did Alpine. I was just starting to do Aston Martin. So my Aston Martin prediction, Fernando Alonso, I think guaranteed. I predict Alonso that would like not like Aston Martin, but then Aston Martin started to do well, so And I was just thinking, because realistically, everybody wants Stroll out. I know there's a few Stroll fans, but yeah, most people think. I personally think Lance Stroll there's so many better options than Lance Stroll. He's not a bad driver. It's just there's better options. So I thought, who would be the only person that Lawrence Stroll would drop his son for? I'm thinking it's more likely that it could be anybody. I'm thinking there is a bit of maybe Daddy Stroll could drop Lance even without this. But I think this is nearly a guaranteed, like, if this person came knocking on the door, Lawrence would drop his son. And I'm thinking Sebastian Vettel wants back. Look, there's two ways this could go, right? They could be like, oh my god, a 4-time world champion wants to come back into the team. And of course we're going to keep Alonso. And we want to keep Lance, but or they could, look at Seb's 2 years and think, yeah, a bit underwhelming. He had some decent performance. I think of Baku 2021, stunner, actually a stunner. It was a bit disappointing that he didn't do well in Singapore, or he didn't do great in the Singapore 2022. In fact, I'm going to just fact check myself there. He didn't do bad, but again, I was predicting more. But again, that Asman just, you expected it to go a bit forwards, but it just didn't. And then you expected it to be worse or about the same this year. Well, not worse, but I didn't expect a huge comeback from them. Let me see. We have Seb barely qualifying. Yeah, eighth, not bad. That's not bad for Aston Martin. But he also got beaten by Lance Stroll. But apart from that, you gotta think it's And even then in Japan's another strong one for him. Let's see, where is he? In Japan he was 6th. So no, he's solid. He's definitely solid. I think he really could, but you could argue that Seb just doesn't have it. He probably ran out of fuel, and then it's like, when he comes back, can you promise he'll do well in general? Can you promise he still has that racing spirit like Alonso? Can you promise that he would not be out of practice? Because he did do fairly well, and I think that was this year. He did do fairly well in the Race of Champions. I still think he's got it, but that's up to Aston Martin. Does Aston Martin think he doesn't? He still doesn't. He doesn't have it anymore. I don't know. That's the main thing. It depends on the value Seb still has for Aston Martin. Because if they still think he's championship level, then yes. I don't think he's as good as Alonso. I think Alonso's still in his prime, where Vettel's probably dipped a little. But it's like, it's hard to tell. I would love to see Sebastian Vettel in that Aston Martin again, especially if that Aston Martin just gets better. Even if it's only a portion, and it's not like the best team. Maybe it's very close to Red Bull, for example. But yeah. My original pick for this was actually Sainz, which I thought, might be alright. I think it's, again, I was saying Ferrari, and I've heard rumors that Ferrari is more likely to get rid of Sainz, or just not care if he goes. So that is one thing that has changed since we've recorded this. So I think that could have been likely as well. It's just more so Lawrence is biased against his son. Does he really think, in his head, he's thinking Lance is better than Sainz, possibly. I think most people can agree Sainz is better than Lance. And to give Lance credit, I'd like to say Lance is probably around Ocon, Gasly. Maybe he's better than Bottas is currently. Bottas has been a bit disappointing. I think most people can agree that Sainz is better than Stroll, I'm saying. No, but yeah. The only problem, I guess, with that is does Sainz then want to be the number one driver? Because if Sainz goes to McLaren, it depends on the leaps Piastri makes this year. But at least for a while, he would be the number one driver. And I think he would have a better chance of competing with Piastri than he would with Leclerc or Alonso. Those sides has been quite impressive against Leclerc, I must admit, but I think that's mostly because Ferrari has done something weird with the development where they tried to develop it to more suit Sainz than they're like developing it back to Leclerc. I don't know where they are with their development, but there is some sort of weird, wacky kind of the car kind of suits Leclerc more, but also it's got elements of Sainz preferences. So again, someone tell me about that. Realistically, Sebastian Vettel, Alonso. Realistically, because here's the thing. I said this with Alonso. I was like, oh, it's a guarantee. Like when Alonso retired and he went over to Indy, I thought it was a guarantee that he would come back to F1. I was like, yeah, like he's got to come back. Like, right, he's got still that great there racing. I was surprised when everybody was like surprised he came back. It's like, I mean, it was expected, right? I don't know. But when you look back at it, he does say he's retired, but he's still does things. He's still racing. Racing is his passion, and he comes back. Sebastian Moore has gone like he has a family. He's still doing some racing things, but it's more like, hey, honey, I'm going away for the weekend. No, hey, honey, I'm gonna be gone like I'm gonna be gone like half of the year. we can still make it work, and I'll hang out with the kids when I can, but no. He has a family that he has to look after, and not look after, but he wants to hang out with. That's the thing, He's spent so much of his probably God, I would say nearly half of his life. I'd say yeah, half of his life probably being away from home a lot and focus on motorsports. And obviously he married his wife young, had kids, I think. Does Sebastian Vettel have kids? I just assume he does. I'm pretty sure he does. Children, yeah, he does. I think that was the main thing. 3 kids. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so yeah, they obviously had kids too, 2014, 2015, and 2019. Part of the reason why, obviously, Sebastian matured a little. And he just misses them. He wants to spend more time with them. So for me, that's the one thing. Personally, I don't know if it's easy as knocking on the door and saying, "Can I have my seat back?" Well, he wouldn't be asking for his seat back, because then I don't think that would be Alonso out in favor of Vettel. I still believe it's hard to say. I think Vettel might be the better driver in his prime, but then you could look at Alonso right now and be like, oh well, Alonso's criminally underrated, and then you could go because he only had that 2 world championships. But I think now, at least, I think Vettel's got more in him than most people think. Even those last few races, 2022 wasn't great for him. I felt like maybe he like, he had a bit of a just losing faith in the sport, which is, yeah, again, not losing faith, but he was on the way out. He was getting ready to pack his stuff up. No, do I guess there's a few other things. It's just I don't know. Does Vettel go there? Is Vettel to Red Bull even more? Like, no, I don't think. I don't think the Red Bull let Vettel back in. And he doesn't go to Ferrari. I don't think. I mean, I'm just thinking if Vettel was to come back, Aston Martin or maybe even Audi is the most likely. I'm just thinking by the time Audi come into the sport, he will be a bit older, but I guess you can still do it, I guess. I don't know. Alonso's racing into his 40s, I guess. But then again, like you're looking at, again, crucial years of his kid's life. Does he want to be missing? I think if he did return, he would probably return for another few years. Alonso doesn't have it commits. Alonso doesn't even have a girlfriend now. He Alonso might have had to choose between his girlfriend and racing and say, sex is cool and all, but racing, no. No. Obviously, they had Alonso's out of more of his fuckboy here. I think Alonso and his girlfriend did have a deep connection there, but no, I think Alonso's fully committed to racing. Vettel isn't. It's hard to say, does the timeline fit, and does Vettel want to come back so soon? Would Audi be too soon, too late for Seb? So have to think. Does he? That's the one I can't think of. It's maybe 50-50, but it would be very surprising to say the least. Apart from me, who predicted it. If I called it. Okay, all right. Let's get through a few of these because we haven't got too many to go, and already recorded quite a bit. Okay, so Sauber, which is again going to be Audi in 2026, but for now I think it's got to be Sauber. It should be interesting though, just being Sauber for like 2024 and 2025. Interesting to see the branding on that. Go back to the normal kind of, I think it's blue and yellow kind of brand colors. I don't know. But yeah. I don't know. Anyways, Sauber, I'm saying they keep Bottas. But, obviously we said Zhao to Ferrari. So really, Sauber do need someone. And again, we said McLaren don't have Lando Norris. So I'm saying Lando Norris at Sauber, basically. I think despite the fact that even in the British Grand Prix this week, McLaren actually have made a huge step up. You got to think they're at least making progress. Maybe Lando stays. But here's the thing: if the situation arised where Sainz goes the other way, Ferrari goes Zhao. I feel like maybe I know. And then Sauber, you thinking? Could we promote Porsche? You're thinking? But again, you've got you know, if say Lando Norris is available, if Lando Norris sees that seat is available, I think, well, that's a good call. And then again, I don't expect Bottas to be around. You maybe promote Porsche. But here's my hot take on Porsche. I just don't. I feel like there's a chance he misses F1. I feel like he was really praised as like Wonder Boy, like he was like the next big thing, Just has he really impressed? What, this is Porsche's, I'd say, his third year? And I mean, he is winning the championship currently. As of F2. As of F2, yep. Sorry. As of Silverstone, I think. Is he? Really? Okay, maybe he's too far behind. I thought he might have been, but no. Oh yeah, he's very close to Vesti. The fact that Porsche isn't running away with the championship, or the fact that he didn't even get it last year. I mean, who is the championship again? Who won the champ? Oh, Drogovic, right? The fact that he didn't win that, and then like he didn't win last year. Okay, you say first year, whatever. It's, he's young. He was young in his first year, whatever. Fair enough. But coming fifth was even good. He's solid. I just don't know. So that's the thing. But even then, you could go be like, Porsche, we want you to do another year of something. I don't think he does another year of F2, but maybe you put him in just full reserve for the year. Monitor his progress. You're monitoring what Bottas doing, is Bottas on the way out. The only other thing is you could see Sauber getting Lando Norris and Porsche because Bottas does retire. It's hard to say because I think Bottas would have to make a decision, or he'd have to announce something fairly soon, right? For the sake of Sauber having to find someone, and just for the sake of, whatever, he's saying like, I want to call it quits, maybe that's a decision that we see soon. So you could see a Lando Norris and a Porsche, possibly. Or again, people saying Lando and Sainz. The combinations for Audi are so just interesting. So again, this Sauber move for Norris, maybe it's a step backwards in his first or second year. We get him into the environment, then when Audi come in. The thing is, I'm saying this assuming that Audi's great and that Lando Norris is going to believe that Audi's first year in the sport is going to be solid, maybe not amazing, but again, you give him a few years and then they're the best team or something. Whatever. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Audi's going to succeed straight away. That's the one biggest thing you got to factor into all of this. Does Audi succeed? Can Audi show Lando Norris they've got good simulations, good progress? They've got, and then do you look at that versus McLaren? I think Lando's. It's hard to tell if Lando's really upset with McLaren. And this weekend he's not, in the British Grand Prix weekend. But that's hard to say, hard to say. Hard to say in general. So, yeah. I don't know. So again, I want to say my original was different. I don't think I had Bottas in Sauber. Um, I want to say I had Porsche, but maybe not. I think I had a Porsche and the Haas, and then I had someone else. I can't actually remember. I might have even had Mick and Lando, possibly. I don't know. I definitely had something different. That's the one time where I'm going to go, I don't know. But yeah. And obviously, how likely is does Lando ditch McLaren? Maybe after 2025, or does his contract run out 2024? I don't think he makes the move quite yet. Let me just check. Lando Norris contract ends till 2025. So yeah, okay. Until the end of the 2025. So he would be up for a contract extension closer to when Audi actually joins. So maybe it's a better move to Orlando, maybe to more consider it when and so Audi has a better concept of their car. Obviously they would probably be able to show Lando Norris that in confidence, kind of like, we can give you sneak peek, or we can just show you like what we've got, and then if Lando Norris is impressed, I'm not sure. Again, Bottas, I'm almost saying people are probably going like, Bottas, it's guaranteed, right? It's a guarantee that he'll be there the next year. I'm still thinking it's likely that he'll retire. I mean, it might be a bit of a stretch, but I'm just looking at Bottas right now. It's like, is he just racing for the sake of it? Is it, when does he get? When does he? I don't know. But then again, he's saying he wants to stick around for Audi, but I just don't think he's gonna be entertained for that long. So yeah. All right, moving on. Haas, second last of the 10 teams. I'll explain why I say 10. All right, so Haas. I'm saying they keep Nico Hulkenberg, and then they get Ollie Behrman. I think Ollie Behrman is actually solid prospect, and a lot of people might go Behrman next year. Bit of a what the maybe it's pulling the lever too early, and then you go. But I think it's clear that they want Behrman to be Ferrari's next big project or whatever. They're hoping for Charles Leclerc or Oliver Behrman lineup, maybe 2026, 2027, whatever. In the next few years, and I think this would be a great opportunity for Haas to go. We'll have him for a bit, and that's like, for maybe Ferrari go somewhere differently and Haas get to keep Ollie Behrman. I don't know, because Gunter does have a bad relationship with Ferrari juniors already, Dude, I think there needs to be some sort of agreement made there, right? Because you're thinking, is he better than Magnussen? Maybe Magnussen hasn't been great, I'd say, this year. I wouldn't be surprised if they booed Magnussen again this soon. Maybe not. Maybe they give Magnussen 2024 and kind of say, hey. Nico Hulkenberg is a hard one to say too, because it's like, in this one I assumed he said, because, well, yeah. Yeah, he's just doing well. I was assumed he would maybe have bombed out, maybe had that 1 year. Just go, nah, that's it. I'm very surprised Hulkenberg came back to the sport, but hey, maybe he has a few more years left him, at least 2024, I think. Or maybe 2025 he goes to, or maybe he sees himself into the new regulations. Has a bit of a taste of the 2026 regulations, and kind of goes, okay, that's cool. I'm out though. That's it for me. But I wouldn't be surprised if a lot more like older drivers see Alonso maybe and go like, I have to do that, But again, would it really change a whole lot of people? Like, again, people who are a bit family folks like Vettel. I don't know. I don't know if Hulkenberg. I don't think Hulkenberg has a family really. well, when I put it like that, no, I don't think he has like a wife and daughter. Let me check real quick. Let me check. He probably does. Okay, he does have a daughter. They was born in 2021. Maybe then. It's probably bad, like, indications of, does he have anything better to do? It's, when you put it like that, it's not great. It's like, does he have anything better to do? Does he have something waiting for him at home, or is he just gonna keep on going around the track because what better does he have to? No, I think, yeah. Look, compared to my original, where I said, because I thought at the start of the season Hulkenberg was going to perform, I thought Hulkenberg was going to come in and just go, yeah, it's just like Hulkenberg spent too much time away, and like a lot of people, I think people overrate Hulkenberg, and this is mostly me being hopeful because obviously I hated the Mick Schumacher, kind of them dropping Mick. I love Mick, and that they did that shit, and they treated Mick like shit, I think, and a few people I'll do, so I can't be that. I can't. Sorry, I go blank too much. My words just don't come to me. I speak a lot, just sometimes words don't come to me. No, I can't be that wrong. If a lot of people don't like that, but again, a lot of people against Mick too, because they're like, oh, he's just like crash prone. Anyway, so we could go on all on. I thought so. My original prediction was actually going to be, I think it was Bottas and Haas, because I thought Sauber and like both Sauber and Ferrari maybe were looking away from it. Like Audi is probably gonna Sauber and Audi probably don't have the same kind of view. So I was thinking maybe Sauber don't really get Porsche because Audi don't really want Porsche, and Audi have their own view for which drives they want. But the thing is, and I thought that Ferrari that would possibly be looking more in the Bearman, so it's like Haas. That was the thing with Haas, where it's like, okay, no, you haven't got Porsche on a loan like you have for Bearman. Haas has legitimately got Porsche to themselves if they want. Like, again, maybe Haas could, actually hang on to one of their rookies, because there's not the constant threat of Ferrari poaching him. Because you think if Porsche, if he goes to Haas because Ferrari don't want him, even if Porsche does alright and Ferrari call him up, and Haas might be able to give you a better argument. It's not like it depends how Haas is doing. But if Haas can give Porsche the car, then maybe Porsche just stays at Haas. kind of. And then I said Bottas because I thought again Sauber maybe would look to change up their lineup quite significantly before Audi comes in and kind of get that all prepared for them. And I thought maybe Bottas wants to still race a bit, and Haas needs a veteran. Haas likes veterans. What better veteran to get than Bottas? But there's obviously the issue of, does Bottas want to still go around? Would that be the end of Bottas's? If Sauber dropped Bottas, would Bottas just hang it up? Would Bottas just go, yeah, fuck it, I can't be bothered, you know? So that was my original, and I talked a bit about Hulkenberg Behrman. Is that likely? I don't think Behrman. It's a bit soon for Behrman, so I'm probably gonna say no. Hulkenberg's probably likely, yes, though. I'd say. All right, so we talked about AlphaTauri, Liam Lawson, Owasa. Anything to add to that is probably maybe Daniel Ricciardo actually has a decent shot at the AlphaTauri seat. I know a lot of people aren't happy with it. I know a lot of people are like, Danny shouldn't get that. They should prioritize their junior. I think they still can prioritize their juniors. But someone like Owasa, who've said, oh no, Owasa isn't ready. Marco said Owasa isn't ready. No, then again, they're little think of fucking promoting Paolo, Alex Paolo. Maybe it's alright, but come on, Marco, come on, dude. Like, what the fuck? You know what? But yeah, other than that, another hot take could be AlphaTauri has Liam Lawson and Daniel Ricciardo. I think that's, big one instead of Liam Lawson and Wasa. But anyways, we'll move on to the last one, or last of the 10 teams that we know that are confirmed. Williams. You're gonna hate me because this is a hot take. It's a hot take inception, really. It's a hot take that I don't think anything unpredictable will happen with Williams. So I'm stuck with the same of Albon and Logan Sargent. So this is one thing that I've just never changed, all right? I just said Albon, Sargent, bang. Especially before the start of the F2 season, or whatever, before the start of the season where you didn't see the F2 prospects and whatever the potential, maybe could you promote someone from F2 if they do alright, someone like Vesti, for example. I think at the start I was like, can I see anybody getting the job over Logan? Does Williams actually really have any competition? Now they have a bit of competition. You've got Mick, who I put in Mercedes, so obviously you can't. Vesti, maybe, I think. But honestly, with Vesti, it's almost more of a hot take that he gets it's more of a hot take that he just never gets anything in F1. You remember, maybe Mercedes have something lined up for him. Maybe he's the next Mercedes driver after Lewis retires or something. I don't know. It would be quite a hot take if I said Vesti doesn't get into F1, similar to maybe Drogovic doesn't get into F1. Really think about that. Maybe he does. Maybe with the two teams, maybe they say Drogovic, but I don't know. There's so many interesting prospects coming through. It's almost like, why would someone go Drogovic? But hey, it depends. Maybe there's more talent that Aston Martin are hiding in a way. Like I said, I was impressed with Drogovic. I just don't know. And yeah, Vesti, if AlphaTauri drop Nick De Vries, maybe Williams go, we'll go for our original, or like our original Williams driver, the kind of like it's like, yeah, welcome back. But I feel like, even though I think De Vries would have a better kind of career, he would be doing better if he was in that Williams. It's a bit more maybe to his liking, maybe, he's more used to it. Hard to say if he's doing as well as Logan Sargent, blah blah. But if you really think of it, isn't that much? Like, for me, if I could say something crazy, I could go like Drogovic, Alex Albon and Drogovic. I could say something, but I do want them to be kind of in some reality. Okay, a lot of these aren't realistic, too realistic, but they're like almost like there are some driver ties. So I have to think of who has driver ties at Williams, and the competition for that seat's just, yeah. So I think in the bigger thing, it's a hot take that they keep Logan Sargent around. And of course they're going to keep Alex out. Again, if we were going to go super bold, we would say Red Bull drop Max Verstappen and decide to get Lando Norris. I don't know. Instead of having the two of them, they decide no. So that's the whole point of this. And yeah, I just think, I don't know, who do you see? Who else can you see? It's a bit boring, but it's almost a hot take in itself that I feel like nothing happens even in a hot take, in a high kind of bold predictions for Williams. So again, I don't know what more I can say about them, but yeah. All right, Andretti. I'm saying in this bold world that Andretti gets accepted, and it's like, yeah, you start next year. it's like the jobs that you'll go, yeah, you start in a few months, or oh yeah, you've got the job, but you start next year or something. This is the, oh yeah, okay. Did we tell you? You gotta have a car on the grid next year. You almost kind of think. I think it's like it's honestly, I think the deadline for the new teams, F1 new teams. Is it almost? I'm pretty sure it's like 2025. Really. They're saying to join the grid from 2025. 2025, 2026, or 2027. So already maybe not likely that the team just comes in next year. But so let's just say it did happen. Let's just say, yeah, Andretti gets the call up, and because Andretti, I'm pretty sure, is ready, to be honest. I think Andretti is, yeah, I don't know. And again, I could have included ones like High Tech Grand Prix or whatever, the other Asian team, whatever. But I just decided Andretti's a given. So while they may not be so soon. So for Andretti, I went Colton Herta. Obviously current Andretti driver, who would have to pull out to be fair, I must put a disclaimer on this, would have to put on a solid performance and have to pull some safety license points up out of his ass, or super license points, I mean. He would have to do a lot of things that I just think he doesn't, or there'd have to be like a maybe they grant an exception this time if Andretti joins. Like if Andretti's like, we're not joining unless or like or something or like okay, our final request of you is that you grant Herder a super license, and then FIA give in. But I don't think so. I think the FIA is pretty fucking stubborn when it comes to the super license. So yeah, whatever. And yeah, and then I said beside him, since Checo totally doesn't have a job, you get him in the next Andretti seat. So here's the thing I'm thinking, right? Herder's the American, right? Or currently driving. Now you've got another North American, that Mexican fan base in Checo, and if a basic kind of like um geography lesson or like a basic understanding of America is there is a big Mexican fan base in America as well. There's a big population of that. I just think if Andretti are looking for like a marketing perspective, but also looking at Checo as in like, oh, he hasn't got a job and he's still pretty solid driver. I think that works from a marketing perspective. But it also works from just right. Again, obviously Herder, they're going like, okay, Herder's our driver, whatever, we're gonna put him in F1 car. That's what they're saying. Andretti is also thinking of putting Alonso in that car, I heard as well. But apart from that, I'm thinking like, who else do Andretti put? And that's why I'm saying that's probably the most likely assuming Checo doesn't have a job anymore. I'm thinking this is actually honestly fairly likely. If Checo loses his job, I mean, I must admit he's made a fool of himself recently. Missed out. He's got eliminated in Q3 again for the British Grand Prix. But it's not like his stock is completely shit. Like he hasn't completely gone bad. Even if you're not thinking from a marketing perspective, if Checo is on the market and no one else has taken him, I think Andretti get him. I don't think I had any other renditions of this this team. I think that's pretty much my chosen kind of. I think I might have had someone else alongside Herder, but I think this has mainly been my one prediction. I don't think I've changed it up. Yeah, that's it. That's that. Quick finishing off the video, podcast episode, whatever. Some snubs from the 2024 grid that are on the 2023 grid. You're already thinking Gasly. Gasly's a big one. I just think, where does Gasly go if he loses Alpine? I don't think AlphaTauri wants him back. I don't think he wants to go back to AlphaTauri. Can he justify going upwards? I don't think so. Go a bit downwards, maybe Sauber or something. I don't know. Fucking has taken. Other thing I was thinking, maybe Williams. Maybe Williams go Albon and Gasly. Solid lineup. Poach a former Red Bull driver. That would be interesting actually, because obviously Albon and Gasly, I wanted to see going up against each other in AlphaTauri. Being in the same car, it'd be interesting to see what they could do. I just think Gasly's underwhelming, and I don't think he's done enough to impress anybody. Maybe McLaren. If they had to choose between Sainz and Gasly, maybe they would choose Gasly. I don't know. In this, I've said, who else is missing? Stroll, of course. Stroll, if he loses his Aston Martin, I don't think anybody picks him up. Like, Williams could, again. He could go back to Williams, but like it's not like he's shit. It's just he's not good enough to justify a great seat. You know? He's not good enough to justify a seat in a developing car like Williams. Or, Sauber. I don't think he's the future of Sauber, for example. And he doesn't go higher than that, of course. I think if he loses Aston Martin, he's probably off to WEC. He's probably driving Aston Martin endurance car. Or whatever they call him. But yeah. He's driving around there. And I think that's something that probably Lawrence could do for him. It's like, okay, we're firing you from F1, but we're still going to provide you a seat. It's just, and again, like it's not like, it's a bit of a downwards move, but it's not terrible. Like obviously, Max wants to do it. Max wants to do Le Mans. I don't know if he want to do the whole season with all the other 24, 16 hours or whatever. I don't know. But I think it's almost a little desirable, sort of. Obviously, Giovinazzi's happy with it. And a few other former F1 drivers. But yeah. So, yeah. That's that. Magnussen's another one. I was thinking Magnussen doesn't have much of a ceiling. Could he be a decent second driver alongside George Russell, maybe? Maybe Mercedes go, we're putting the future entirely in your hands, Russell. And then Magnussen does a good, solid supporting act, which helps him get the constructors, maybe. Possibly. I think Magnussen's, already been kicked out of sport. His only hopes for Haas, I really think. And if Haas drop him, I don't see him. Again, a lot of these people that aren't, I could have put them in another seat, or who lost their seat, I could put them in another seat, but like, let's think realistically, is there any, realistically, where do they go? Sorry. Excuse me. Realistically, have they got another seat? Can they get themselves another seat? And I'm saying no. Sorry, mate, if you can see my eyes are tearing up a little just from that little joke. I'm not crying. No. I'm just so emotional that this podcast episode is over. No. But yeah, no, I thought about that and it's like, yeah. Anybody else of importance missing? No, I think that's pretty much it. It's pretty much, that's the only people who are missing, really. And then I could probably say some snubs, like I said Porsche again. I'm thinking in this world, maybe Porsche doesn't make it into F1. Maybe Drogovic doesn't make it into F1. I don't see Drogovic probably on the grid next year anyways, but whereas Porsche, maybe. A lot of people who think maybe a reverse snub is Zhao. I think a lot of people thinking, Zhao's probably going to get the boot from Sauber, and like no one picks up Zhao. But in this world, I'm thinking Zhao actually does have a future. He does get a spot which is maybe a bit high for him, but I'm thinking he's got potential. He's got potential, guys. I think Ferrari's a big making the step up to Ferrari is a big leap, but still, I think he's got good second driver potential. He could be a really good supporting driver to Charles, I think. But yeah, apart from that, done. I think, yeah. So yeah, if you want a really quick recap in this, what if there was the craziest silly season of all time? maybe not all the time. Actually, this is probably actually close to that. Red Bull, Max Verstappen, Yuki Tsunoda, Ferrari, Charles Leclerc, and Guan Yu Zhao. Mercedes, George Russell, Mick Schumacher. McLaren, Oscar Piastri, and Carlos Sainz. Alpine, Esteban Ocon, and Jack Doohan. Aston Martin, Fernando Alonso, and Sebastian Vettel. Sauber, soon to be Audi, Lando Norris, and Valtteri Bottas. Haas, Nico Hulkenberg, and Ollie Behrman. AlphaTauri, Liam Lawson, and Ayumu Iwasa. Williams, Alex Albon, and Logan Sargent. And in this scenario where somehow Andretti get onto the grid next year, Colton Herta and Sergio. Yeah, so that would be, again, take a lot of my predictions with a grain of salt. Even myself, I was thinking, like, if I was to make a more grounded kind of, oh, here's some hot take predictions, I wouldn't go this far with how crazy it would be. A lot of things would have to happen in the summer break. But yeah, no, that's that. And yeah, next episode, I will. What time is it? Sorry. Next episode, I will possibly react to last year's predictions. Obviously, my hot take predictions, the ones that are a bit more grounded, but quite kind of crazy as well. And I may, if I may have time, I'll probably have time in that episode to also make my predictions for 2024, 2025, and beyond. You know, the whole thing I've been doing for 2 years now, I think. Yeah. So yeah, I'll try to get that out before the summer break, maybe. And yeah, it's fun. And yeah, stay tuned for that. But for now, this episode is over. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you soon. If not, I'll be back in maybe half a year. I hope to at least get one more podcast episode out before maybe I go quiet for a little bit again while I do my job hunting and focusing on that. Sorry, I'm a bit tired. Yeah, anyways, for now, till we meet again, see ya.